I think the key component for me is delving in and saying, okay, I want to understand what this is and how it could benefit my business, because I'm looking at every principle here as doing that, as benefiting my business. How will this benefit my business? And as I dove into understanding how this principle works and how it does help me, guess what it did? It answered questions on why certain things had happened in my business that were kind of a negative way. I'm like, wow, now I have an answer. Now I realize why. And number two, it gave me the tools to be able to mitigate those negative situations. Now, would you agree, if we're going to do something we've never done before, we must do something we've never done. We must, if we're going to have this success Olympics with 10,000 plus people, we have to learn some new skills. We got to do something. We got to implement something different, something more unique. If we're going to reach our $1 billion mark, we probably have to skill up, don't we? Even us, I mean, individuals who have been here for a long time. Can we still learn, or are we done? Because I've learned, unfortunately, I've had to try this out twice. If you stop learning, you don't just stagnate, you go backwards. And, you know, I joke sometimes, but I really have. I've made every mistake probably twice just to make sure it was a mistake. So, there you go. So what is this? No cross-lining. Don't cross the line. Keeping specific business information where it should be. With whom do I share critical, specific business information? With whom? Okay, let's talk about this. I want to use an example. Let's say you are here, and this is a traditional business example, not in our industry, so bear with me. You start a retail business. You don't have enough money to get it totally off the ground. What do? You're probably going to borrow it. You're going to go to an investor, right? Now, this investor, do you think they have a right to know what you're doing in that business? Do you think they want to know what your monthly cash flows are, what your sales are, revenue, all these kind of numbers? Yeah, okay, so you communicate with them. Now let's say this investor's pretty savvy. He's maybe the best investor in this industry, and he starts another business. Invests in another one, in business B. Is that okay if he does that? For sure, he's a smart investor. Of course he would. Anybody, like, of course, I want 2, 3, 4. And do you think it's okay for that investor to share business information with business B and to communicate? Of course. He's the investor. He knows what's going on. He wants to find out what's happening. Now, that business B may be across the country or across the city. Do you share specific business information with your competitor over there? No, you wouldn't, would you? You really, I mean, I've never seen it happen. It's kind of this natural in business kind of etiquette, right? It's already there, kind of unspoken. Now, what's the example and what's the application in our business? Because sometimes people go, wow, you mean, does that mean I can't communicate with people around me? Heaven forbid that, right? We'd be a team of one if that was the case. So, in this analogy, the investor is your sponsor, and you are there. And you have a business relationship. They have a vested interest. Can they see your volumes and genealogy? Can they see all that specific business information? Do you get to see the guy next to you who's not in your organization? Do you get to see that specific business information? No. Well, then why are we talking about it? Now, this is an interesting concept because it's protective in nature. People always say, well, let's not talk about the negative things. Well, guess what? If you don't talk about negative stuff, it keeps happening. And it's not really in that play that we don't want to like brush it aside. It's really the play that to have a winning team, you have to have both a good offense and a good defense. And that's what this is. Let me give you some real life examples of cross-lining and the principle of this and how it affects the business, okay? So example number one, and all these are real life, they've happened in my business. Got a distributor in Europe. We're recognizing blue diamonds on the stage, and this is a newer distributor. And what he does is he runs over to these blue diamonds and says, oh my gosh, you guys are so awesome. Not in the same group, different lines. Tell me what you did so I can be successful too. Now, are there any secrets in the business? No, right? If there was something really good, it's being taught on stage, guys. The same things that they did is what we're teaching the other guy, right? So when you roll up and say, listen, tell me your secret, it's kind of like, you gotta be kidding me. But here's the challenge. We're a group of people that love to help. And we love to share. And it makes us feel good when somebody rolls up and says, oh my gosh, you're so great, teach me. Wow, okay. Not my downline, but it's okay. Let me share with this, okay? Now there's two possible outcomes to this. Number one, those blue diamonds have an opportunity to share or not share. Sharing specific business information, here's what you need to do, here's how it needs to happen. That's kind of like an investor trying to share with somebody who they don't know all the info. It's like trying to guide somebody with a GPS system and you have no idea where they're at. I would like to get to New York City. Okay, well then turn left to here and go right here, but you have no idea whether I'm in California, New Mexico, Utah. It just doesn't work, does it? We may be with good intentions, but at the end, does that help that individual? Here's how this story played out. Because of this was Eastern Europe, because they are very specific on the system, these new blue diamonds said, that is cross-lining. We don't share specific business information, and they did the right thing. We're going to refer you back to your upline for specific information on what you need to do in your case, specific case, to be able to grow this business. Now, would you like specific, tailored information for you to grow this business for you, or do you want just kind of general stuff? I would presume you probably want specific, tailored information. And so they did the right thing. And in a way, we probably could call this principle respect upline, more so than anything else, because I'm respecting that other person's upline if they came and asked me to do the right thing, to do the correct thing of sharing with them the right information. Now, it's not a bad thing, okay, if that happens. Well, really what it can do, if it went the other way, I'll tell you what happens, okay? That person now got information from the blue diamond. They may be going off a different track because they didn't understand a specific need that the uplines did. Is that good for that new person? Back to the GPS example. If I tell them, okay, well, turn left here,